In B2B sales, there's always been two ways to go after new business: the hard way and the smart way. And for decades, it feels like we've all been stuck doing it the hard way, wrestling with this super complex, expensive, and just frustrating process. But that's all starting to change. We're going to dive into how this big shift from cold outreach to warm introductions is completely changing the game. So let's just start with a quick gut check. Be honest. Does your sales process feel like a straight line from you to the right person, or does it look a little more like this? A crazy maze of twists, turns, and a whole lot of dead ends. If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are definitely not alone. And that maze, well, that's really the heart of the problem. We're going to call it the sales maze. Let's walk through what that traditional B2B workflow actually looks like, and you'll see exactly why it feels so convoluted and, frankly, just plain broken for so many people out there. Look at this. This isn't a process. It's an obstacle course. A full 7 steps before you can even try to make contact. You're defining your ICP, your buyer persona, you're updating the CRM, gathering intent data, prioritizing accounts. All of that is just the prep work. Only then do you get to the manual slog of searching for a contact and, trying to send a cold message. That is a huge amount of time and energy before you even get a chance to say hello. And of course, to get through this maze, you need this massive, expensive stack of tools. You've got your CRM, right? Then you've got data enrichment tools, intent data platforms, totally separate prospecting tools like SalesNav or ZoomInfo, and then another set of tools for sequencing. Each one of these just adds more cost and more complexity. It makes the whole thing not just a time suck, but also ridiculously expensive. So, okay. After all that work, after juggling all those tools, you finally make it to the last, most critical step. But this is where the maze so often leads you to its most frustrating feature, the ultimate dead end we call cold outreach. This line from the process really says it all. After everything you've done, it all comes down to this: attempt a cold message, if you can find an email. That tiny little word, if, is carrying so much weight. So much uncertainty. It means this whole thing is based on hope, not strategy. It's the moment where all that effort can just evaporate. And here it is, the result of all that work, all that expense, all that hope. 2%. Just let that sink in for a second. After navigating that entire 7-step maze, after paying for a whole stack of software, your chance of actually succeeding is a measly 2%. It is an absolutely staggering amount of work for almost zero return. But what if you could just, walk right past the maze? This is where the whole story pivots. We're going to check out a much simpler path, one that's powered by a totally new way of thinking and a tool called Connect the Dots. I want you to just imagine this for a minute. What if that hardest, most frustrating, lowest probability part of your entire job, actually finding and connecting with the right person, suddenly became the easiest part? That's the core idea we're going to explore right now. Okay, so remember that 7-step monster of a workflow we just looked at? Well, this is the alternative. It's a simple 2-step process. Step 1, open an account you want to work with in your CRM. Step 2, you immediately see the best ways to get an introduction, and they're even scored by how strong the relationships are. The searching, the guessing, it's all just gone. So how is this even possible? Well, this radical simplification works because it shifts the entire focus away from cold, blind outreach and towards something way more powerful: the warm introduction. It's all about leveraging the network that you and your entire company already have. Let's just put these two side by side because the difference is pretty stark. The old way, a manual hunt across a ton of tools that ends with a total shot-in-the-dark cold message. The new way, it's instant. You immediately see exactly who in your network can connect you to your target. It just replaces pure guesswork with a clear, trusted path forward. And here is the payoff. Remember that 2% number we talked about? With a warm introduction, that number jumps to 40%. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a complete game changer. That's a 20-fold increase in your odds of success. It completely flips the entire model on its head. And when you look at the metrics, the transformation is just undeniable. The workflow, it goes from being this painful, time-consuming thing to, well, dead simple. The cost plummets from a huge investment in a bunch of tools to a low cost for just one. Tracking becomes automatic. And the bottom line, the most important part, your probability of success skyrockets from about 2% to 40%. I mean, across every single metric, it is a completely different world. So, what does this all mean for the future of selling? Well, it really points toward a brand new standard, one that's fundamentally simpler, way smarter, and built on the real human connections that have always been at the heart of doing business. This is the new reality this whole approach offers. You get to stop searching and you can start connecting. You can dramatically slash your software costs. You can just eliminate those convoluted workflows that drain all your time and energy. And you give yourself a 20 times better shot at starting the conversations that actually lead to real business. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. Think about that next game-changing deal you're trying to land, the one that could define your whole year. What if it isn't hiding behind some cold email you have to send? What if it's already in your network right now, just one warm introduction away?